each donate max from, and don't you think that these people that think that they're voting and putting their money in for Romney are going to eventually be tricked if we win this nomination to where, I call it tricked in a good way, to where they're going to end up giving that money that's going to go to us because the campaign that they're waging right now, even though they're saying that it's for Romney, there's no guarantee. That's just the brand name that they're throwing on the victory fund that they're trying to build. So if they can get this victory fund to something that's huge, and then we take the convention, don't you think that's ours?
Possible, but that's in the category of, you know, wishful thinking that Jesse Benton is secretly a genius. And, you know, most of this money is being spent on promoting Mitt Romney personally at this point. So, I mean, there might be some calculation there, but at least with the macro analysis, it doesn't quite add up that way, Carlos. I wish it did. I wish we could say, like, it's somehow all being invested in the party, but, you know, it's not. It's going to promote Mitt Romney. And it's bringing, if anything, it's making our job harder because it's bringing more Mitt Romney people in closer relationships with the Republican Central Committee.
I'm just staying optimistic. I'm a Paul bot. I have to say I'll stay optimistic, man. I think that there's a trick behind the scenes. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I said, I despise Jesse, but I think that maybe Ron Paul might be using Jesse's dumbass as a medium to confuse the party or something like that. But you know, who knows? This is the Ron Paul. Remember the clip that you saw of him totally clowning on that little chubby dude that was trying to talk crap on the trash talking show. You know, where he totally clowned him. Ron
Back
Paul's
to the 80s.
He's a quick, back in the 80s. He's a quick mofo, man. He's a quick motherfucker. So if you know, maybe there's something. I don't know.
It is possible. No. I won't discount the possibility that Ron has a strategy behind all this. But even if that's the case, you know, using Benton as a cover or as a foil, it's still there are too many things that they have done together that have set back the movement, that have made it harder, that just make it really hard for me to believe that. It's possible, you know, it's certainly possible, and it could be that Ron is holding out for this. But then you have to ask too many questions that just poke holes in that theory. Like, if that was the case, wouldn't Ron be campaigning more specifically or more thoroughly for delegates in the remaining states? Wouldn't they have been doing this from the beginning rather than, you know, just at this point? Why would Jesse Benton be getting all this money to piss people off, to keep the grassroots from donating to the campaign? Like, you know, if Ron Paul really has this genius master strategy behind everything, and he might have a couple of ideas, you know, it's not something that he's been executing perfectly from the beginning, and I just can't give him that much credibility as a strategist when we've seen so many mistakes that can't be explained by that was just a cover.
I'm raising my hand so I can talk. Okay? Do you guys agree then the strategy should be we just forge ahead and disregard whatever the campaign says? That's what I think we should do.
No.
I agree.
No, I don't think we disregard what the campaign says. I think we put it in appropriate context and then forge ahead. And not be disrespectful to Ron Paul at all. Like, maintain our respect for him and what he is doing and what he is creating and what he is organizing, and then move forward. And move forward on our own and be the movement that he has inspired. And specifically, not just do what the campaign is asking for, but also the strategy that I suggested earlier of lobbying the individual delegates, getting them on the record, on video, saying that they either believe Rule 38 applies or that it doesn't, and who they're going to vote for and why. And then we start counting up.
Yeah, like I said earlier, no matter what the situation is, we know what our responsibility is. We know what our obligations are. I mean, I'm going to be down there, and I'm going to be basically trying to find out, get votes. I'm going to do my own exit polling. I'm going to be talking to people, and I'm going to find out what's going on down there. But no matter what happens, you know, we're going. I mean, this whole debate tonight. I know we focused on Ron Paul, but this whole debate tonight was about the liberty movement moving forward, and no matter what happens, okay. People, you know, win, lose, draw. People need to keep their heads up because we're moving on. Because this is bigger than us. This is more important than us. This is about, you know, freedom in our country, and somebody needs to, you know, pick up that torch, and somebody needs to carry it on. And exactly, you know, we need to work. We need to work, and you know, I don't know how else better to describe it, but you know, like I said, I just see a lot of people that are putting all their eggs in one basket, and it's a very good basket. But we know what the goal is, and it's a never-ending battle. You know, there has never been a golden age of liberty. I always have to fight for that. And you know, so we're in this lifelong. You know, well, at least I am, and I'm sure you guys are too. You know.
I want to let Gigi have a minute to talk. Then that's a perfect segue.
You know?
Gigi, please tell us about Liberty Candidates real quick, please. Just explain to everyone what it is and let them know what they need to do.
Just go to the website, libertycandidates.com, which we finally got after about 3 years of waiting. And you'll see a list of all the candidates that are running for office because they were influenced by Ron Paul. And that's all you need to know. We have duplicated Ron Paul. People are running for a school board on there. People are running for a state house. For a lot of people are running for Senate. But it's even the local office that's really important because that's where we really can make a difference. So, you know, I got 15 applications sitting there waiting to be vetted. Another thing people can do is join the committee. Just go to the website and you'll see something that says join the committee. Do it. I need help. I mean, we have about 130 people, but not everybody has time all day long to just vet candidates. So I don't ever expect anything of anyone. When you have time, if you can do one, that's great. Tracy's one of my committee members. You know, when she gets a chance, she does a couple. I really would love to have somebody like you, Adam. I know you're a busy guy. Once in a while, vet a candidate. You know, Anthony, once in a while, vet a candidate. Because it's important, because what it's all about, this is promote him, Adam. I see you promoting candidates that are not Liberty candidates. That's another thing I want to talk about. Here we have Rombo and Jesse Benton. People supporting candidates that are not on the Liberty candidates list. Now, it's not that we're perfect or anything, but there are a lot of candidates out there that failed. We don't list our failed candidates because we don't want, you know, we want to be positive. We want to list the candidates that passed. But when I see people listing, you know, endorsing failed candidates, and I can name a couple right now, Texas, it sort of really upsets me that we have gone through all this trouble. These people are 100% for liberty. Believe me when I tell you, I got the toughest committee I ever saw. They do not just pass anybody. So just, if you want to give money to somebody, endorse somebody, don't even look at who Ron Paul endorsed, because obviously he's endorsing people that we shouldn't be giving money to, like Ted Cruz or Lamar Burton or Smith, whatever his name is, in 2008, when we had a Liberty candidate then, and now we have Sheriff Mack running against him. You know, somebody like Steve Sussman, who's running against a guy that voted for the NDAA and the Patriot Acts about 3 times, and CISPA and everything else, those people don't pass our vetting, okay? So don't bother giving money to someone who's not on our list. I'm going to tell you, that's really a big deal. And if they're not on our list, tell them to send their application over. And if they don't show up on our list, that means they weren't good enough. I mean, there might come a time when we start posting the people that failed. I'd rather not do. We talked about it. We discussed it. But if you have a question about a candidate and you want to know if we failed them, just email me. I'll give you the application. Screw it.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Liberty candidate.
Glenn Addison did not pass our vetting. Okay, people?
I wasn't promoting him.
Adam, other people have asked you this. Hey, Adam,
He
other
failed
people have asked you
twice.
this in the past, but Do you see any sort of political run for yourself in the near future? Do you see any local runs for yourself in the near future? And what do you see forward as your cause for change in this movement?
Adam for King.
Thanks to everybody who's kept the pressure on me for this, and I'm really, I mean, I'm flattered every time someone suggests that I run for office again. And what I've said for quite a while here is that I would, I'd only run for office if we found an electorate where 51% of the voters would sign sworn affidavits saying that they'd vote for me before I filed the paperwork, in which case I'd be all over it and I could, you know, not have to subject myself to the idea of actually running and going through that torturous process again. But I think I've actually come up with something else that might be a little more fun, and that is that if Ron Paul is not elected in this year, that I might start running for president in 2020 this November and make it an 8-year campaign. And because I've said that there's one other way that I'd run for office, and that is if I can run on the platform of dissolving the federal government entirely. And hindsight is 2020. We were better off under the Articles of Confederation, were we not? So I think we've come to the point where maybe not now, although I think today, do you love America? Do you love this country? Do you not the government, not this artificial national identity that we have based on government drawn lines on a map? Do you really love this country? Do you want to make the case that we're better off with the federal government today than we would be without it entirely, with having 50 autonomous states capable of governing themselves as independent communities rather than being tied into this leviathan that is sucking the lifeblood out of this country? So people would probably ask me then, you know, how serious are you about this? Would you really want to be president? Would you really? Well, I don't want to be president unless I can be the last president of the United States. But maybe we'll launch this as a campaign and put this forward as a serious platform and say, you know, we're going to do this for 8 years. And when people ask how serious are we, well, serious enough to make this point and to be a voice in the national dialogue for liberty, for localism, for the philosophy of liberty, and applying it without any compromise to the federal government and saying that it simply should not exist at this point, and just to be serious enough to be ready that should we win that debate, should we get to that level of national consensus in 8 years, that we'll be ready to enact that plan. But you know, unless I can really stick to my principles, unless I can say fuck while I'm running for office, you know, because if you can't say fuck, you can't say fuck the government. And if you can't say fuck the government, then what's the point of being involved?
Fuck?
Adam just declared that he's running for president.
Anywhere you can say fuck.
He just declared he's running for the presidency.
No, that's not a declaration. That's an exploration of a hypothetical plan that could be a lot of fun, that could make you know, that could make some waves. But hey, if someone else wanted to be the better individual to step up and make that case and carry forth that platform, I would enthusiastically support them as well.
Adam, I have a question for you I think is important. Ready? All right, so what if Ron Paul says, we follow Ron Paul no matter what, so what if Ron Paul says, I quit and you should too? Do we listen to him or do we do our own thing?
If Ron Paul said quit, then we do what we always do, which is whatever we feel is most effective in spreading the message. And how that is manifest in government is simply a reflection of the current paradigm. I know that, you know that. People who understand this movement and really get the philosophy as it relates to the relationship between the victims of government and government itself understand that how free you are is not based on what is written down in some distant capital or what some guy in a suit says on television, but rather how much the people around you in your immediate life that you have to deal with agree that you should be free. If the police officers think that you need to go to jail because you violated a bunch of laws and your neighbors think that they should keep paying the salaries of the police officers, you're not going to be free. If at the community level they believe that they're going to stand up to that, that they're going to elect maybe a constitutional sheriff who's going to stand up to that, and of course at some point we are all collectivized by this federal government and collectivized in our victimization or our victimhood based on the policies carried forth and imposed on us by the federal government. But what do? We move forward. We keep doing what we always do, which is wake people up, spread the message, free minds, free hearts, and that's really what it's all about. The idea that is going to be reflected in government one way or another when we get to that consensus is something that, I'm really not worried about. It's going to happen. If I have the honor of being the last president of the United States in 2021, then so be it. But I don't really care. I don't really care if it's me or if it's someone else. I just want to see it happen. I just want to know that I'm doing everything I can, and that in this moment right now, because that's all we ever really have, we are doing what we can to live the best lives possible and live up to our principles.
Add them together and have like a... I see that.
The Bachelor, The Bachelorette.
There you go.
There's been reports about that too. They've actually had reports saying that a majority of the crowds for the Ron Paul movements have actually been around 80 to 90% men. So that's actually a good point that he brings up.
Yeah, no, it's something the movement needs to have. I think a better awareness. I'm actually the fact that we have two. I mean, politics is naturally male-dominated, but also the early adopters of the libertarian philosophy tend to be INTJ personality types, myself included. And I'm really an introvert. I'm really an introvert. It's just faking it. But I think that there I don't want to say like a central plan or a way of collectivizing women. Called geez, I can shamelessly plug into videos I've done here. Called libertarian feminism is superior to liberal feminism. And I think that there's a natural appeal in the message when delivered properly as voluntarism that the advantage that men have enjoyed in statism traditionally as a result of being able to be in statism and all of the subtle benefits that entails, as opposed to all of the implications of that. If anything, in society, just simply asserting the non-aggression principle and really properly institutionalizing it is going to, I don't want to say it, physical capabilities in a certain way, but if anything, women's unique values will be better placed in better, higher, or will be valued higher in a free market. They just dominated our market. I think that the unique talents of women are undervalued in today's society.
Well, I have a couple of things to say. This year we've got more women running for Liberty candidates than I could have dreamed possible, and they're all good looking. And the other one is most of the women that Tracy and I have encountered are all bitches or psychos, and that's half the problem. and we could both corroborate that, okay? So
that's a whole other issue.
I love you, Gigi.
I know, I love you too. You're like the only chick I love, though, so.
What about Andrea? Andrea Pisani's good.
I love Andrea, and I love Tatiana, and everybody else can go to hell, okay? There you go.
I made the cut, at least. That's a good thing. I never be on her bad side. That's for damn sure. I don't know.
And guys know I'm kidding, right? But we do have a lot of women running for office because of Ron Paul. And check out libertycandidates.com, and you will see how many beautiful women are running for office.
Hey, guys.
Give them $5, please.
This is really cool. Give them $5, but this is really cool. You see this guy over here? His name is Chang Frick.
That's a good name.
He's actually a Swede who's a Ron Paul supporter. He's in Sweden right now. Say hello.
Hey. Hey,
Hello.
Chang.
Hello.
Sweden. That's cool.
Yeah, usually we are two guys from Sweden hanging around this chat.
There's a lot of nice girls in Sweden for these boys, right?
Yeah, we don't have these issues around here, what you are discussing right now.
Girls everywhere.
We have more issues with socialism than with girls.
It's funny, too, because he's always got a girl over whenever he's hanging out with us. He's always got some... I hope it's the same one. I don't know. Rick, same one? What?
Once again.
Is it always the same girl you have over, or are they different girls that you have over all the time?
There is about 250 people watching. We can take this discussion another time, okay?
That voice is great.
So sexy.
Yeah.
Anyway, I got some questions. All these grassroots movements in United States, what are the discussions right now? I mean, after the latest 2 days in media, some people are speculating that Ron Paul will fall off the whole thing.
Well, there's a call from the chat room for someone to summarize the discussion. Would you like me to go back to the beginning and try and sum up now? And then we can have our final round of questions, and then we can all smoke pot and go to bed, right? Okay, so the title of this forum is Get It Off Your Chest and Tell Us What's Next. And so we discussed what happened in the last 2 days and came to a certain understanding of what Jesse Benton represents for the campaign. And forgive me if I'm speaking more on my own behalf than the entire conversation over here, because I don't claim to, but at least my understanding is that Jesse Benton is a leech on Ron Paul, and there is certainly a disconnect between some of the things that he does and the will of Ron Paul. But the fact of the messages of the last 2 days, Jesse Benton, probably said a lot of stuff on the phone call that he did, the conference call with national media representatives yesterday, that Ron Paul didn't know of or explicitly approve. But then the fundamental concession itself that he made in the statement following Ron's, saying that we're not going to have enough delegates officially, I think that is the official message of the campaign, and we're not going to ignore it. We're not going to go forward as if it didn't happen, but we're going to go forward as we always do, and there is one specific path to victory that it seems the campaign has ignored that we are going to take on, and I propose this, and it's like some people latched onto this. I'm going to video explaining it, but the general consensus was that this was a good call to action. The way that we can actually win in Tampa is by actually getting the majority of the delegates on board with the campaign. We do it 2 ways. One, by doing exactly what the campaign says and continuing in the states where there's still conventions and delegates to be selected, that we do everything that we can to get people selected as delegates and or nominated and elected to go to Tampa to represent Ron Paul. But when it comes down to it, the campaign really doesn't have any leverage if it's not 51%, because when it gets to Tampa, it's a winner-take-all scenario with everything that the delegates have anything to do with. There's no representation. So the only threat that Ron Paul can bring to bear if he doesn't have that 51% is that he's going to disrupt. He's going to do something to rob the RNC of their 4-day infomercial for him and the party. So the only thing that he would get as a concession would be something proportionate to that. So we're saying we need to be pushing for the 51%, and the way to do it between now and Tampa is to go and start counting delegates specifically and saying and making sure that they know that Rule 38 applies. And the way that we actually make this a possibility is by identifying all of the delegates, whether they're Romney delegates or Paul delegates, down in that first round of voting. The Republican Party not try to work around its own rules or deny its own rules. And if they do, that we have 51% of the people there voting for the precedence that was set in 2008 when a McCain delegate from Nevada said that he decided that Rule 38 applied, and he actually stood up and successfully asserted his right to cast a vote for Mitt Romney. And what they're going to do is start keeping track of how many delegates support Rule 38 being in effect for RNC and lobbying them individually and, politely reaching out to them as individuals, looking them up, requesting interviews. If you can do simple videos for YouTube saying, hi, who do you support and why? And, if you can put them on the spot, the way that I do in some of my man on the street videos, the idea is to actually count them up and make them take a stand and say, so you're going to be, and this is the role for veterans for Ron Paul, at least on the outside, is, if you're going to stand against the candidate who just so happens to have more campaign contributions from active duty troops and all other candidates combined, you might as well just be like Henry Kissinger, who said military men are dumb animals to be used in our foreign policy. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to surge forward with that. We're going to pursue that strategy for whoever wants to embrace that strategy. Obviously, people are still becoming delegates. Generally, though, people are going to be investing. You know, some are going to donate to the Money Bomb tomorrow. Some are going to say, no, I should be giving to RevPAC or Veterans for Ron Paul. But people are staying in this as long as Ron Paul is in the race. It is absolutely clear that he did not drop out, he did not suspend, and while Jesse Bett may have conceded the race, the grassroots don't have him. So, sorry if that was one thing.
Josh is.
Do you hear me? Okay. I'm watching this. I'm watching this totally outside from the US. I'm reading a couple of newspapers. I watch some of the clips on YouTube and some of the TV. Some things I'm thinking about, just pure strategical things, is that the race isn't over yet. Not at all. It's like if Ron Paul was about to quit, then he would quit. That's quite logic, okay? Even if it's changing some in the tactics or about the campaign or whatever, if he was about to quit, then he was about to quit. You don't wait some days until you quit. If you take that decision, you same day. It's quite logical. What I'm thinking is that I was reading this newspaper in Huffington Post, this article about the whole thing about Ron Paul, and that the Ron Paul supporters, they're really deeply engaged. And when you look at the Romney supporters, you got almost the opposite. It's for the moment, you know, Romney doesn't have that far track record or that big grassroots movement or anything. So, and the trend I've been watching is that many of those that have been supporting have actually changed. And no one's also. It means also that if you get this kind of momentum,
Chang, just so
where
you know,
Paul
your
is
connection just smoked out.
Yeah, 2 seconds,
Do you hear me?
guys. Hold on. Sadly, I think that there's way too many people in this chat. So, I don't want to say goodbye to you, Chris. I couldn't even hear a thing you had to say. I'm going to say Anthony, if it's all right. I'm going to say goodbye. Josh, Gigi.
No, I'm going to go.
You're going to go? Okay.
Yes. Good night, guys. Hi, Porter. Good night.
Now?
Yeah, man, it's a blast, and it's the only social life I have.
All right, well, MMA it is. That's going to be the next charity event. Me and you at the next event, MMA for Liberty.
All right, cage match.
You got it, brother.
Does anybody know the subject? Anybody know Tricky is old somebody like that in the campaign? He has a strange name. Trytv, I think Viv Olsen.
Do I look weird? Someone tells me that I should leave because I look tired. Is that the case? Do I look exhausted? Anyone?
Well, you're not the only one.
Forget the.
Anyway, guys, I was thinking of something. It's really fun. You all disengaged and everything and so on. And I don't want to sound like an older teacher or your mom or anything. But for example, this kind of discussion is quite public, you know, and people maybe get some way curious about Ron Paul or you know, want to get more information. Just think about the first impression shouldn't really be some guy just smoking loads of pot and talking about, you know, that you don't reducing the whole idea about liberty just about it should be legal to smoke some weed, because it's very easily people will get an
I'll take the middle road.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Can I come in clear? What's going on, y'all? I've been trying to get in for like the last 2-3 hours. My computer's been tripping. But it's been good to hear from all y'all and so many Ron Paul supporters coming together. And to you too, Adam, I'll be checking out your videos and stuff like that. I appreciate that you somebody I can listen to that actually curse. I get tired of hearing so much everybody being polite and shit. Fuck that shit. But anyway, I'm here smoking with y'all too, man. I'm actually got some Ron Paul OG Kush growing California over here. But I want to let everybody know that we also got LA HQ over here. If you guys know anybody in the California area, Los Angeles area, doing phone banking for Ron Paul, trying to get more delegates, trying to do, we actually got table and events that we're doing at Pasadena City College, trying to get people registered. Matter of fact, we're going to be there tomorrow. So if anybody's watching tomorrow, we're going to be out there in the Quorum with a table set up, Ron Paul signs, getting people registered. And we done met a couple of robots, quite a few robots out there. But yeah, man, out there, come join us. Let's see.
So, Parker, what happened at the with the interview that you had with that woman?
What meeting?
You had an interview yesterday?
Oh, yeah, on Ron Paul Radio. I got a show on Ron Paul Radio called Occupy the Media. And we interviewed the lady that actually got hit by the Romney supporter. And, or was that today? That might have been the day. I be smoking too much, man. I forgot. But one of these days, yeah, we had her. We had, who else do we have on? Tomorrow we're going to have Brady from the Oklahoma convention. But yesterday we had Jake Peters. You know the guy that was on the news that did the convention outside of Oklahoma? That was on the news. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Oklahoma?
Oklahoma convention that had to go outside.
I was there.
Yeah, you were there. Okay,
Yeah,
you know
on
Jake.
the news for a while.
Yeah, you know Jake Peters then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jake Peters was on the show. We did an hour-long interview with him, and he gave out some good information. You know, he's very educated with the process. So he was up there, and we also with Zuri Fish. If you go watching the Oklahoma live stream when they ordered the pizza and all that, the girl that was actually filming it, her and her sister, they were on the show too, right before, not before Jake, but the day before. And I've been getting I got the YouTuber Mark Russell from the Nevada convention, the girl Ginger that was putting out the videos of the guy with the fake slates, the fake Ron Paul slate. She was on the show. Yeah, on my show we just trying to stay updated and get the information out there about these conventions because it's a lot of bullshit going on out here, man. But if anybody want to see those interviews, because they were real good, there's a lot of information out there. You can go on my YouTube page, Paco757, or check me out on ronpaulradio.com.
Paco757 on Facebook.
On YouTube, on Facebook it's Paco. Yeah, on Facebook it's Paco Elijah. I heard earlier you guys talking about things that we should do in the movement, and after what's going on with Jesse Bannon, I did my little rant and shit earlier today on the show about Jesse Bannon and pain. And one thing that really ticked me off about Jesse Bannon, what he did was at the beginning of his conference call, he said that Ron Paul supporters, when they asked him about that is basically up for grabs. I almost threw my fucking computer, man. I couldn't believe somebody that's in the Ron Paul campaign would say something like that. Like where was it ever in the playbook that we were going to fall behind who was ever the nominee? That was never part of the plan. Like, it's Ron Paul or it's nobody. Or Gary Johnson or whoever people want to vote for. But, you know, as far as I'm concerned, it's Ron Paul or it's no one. So that really ticked me off. And I feel like whatever strategy they got going on, whatever game plan they got going on, I don't know if it's working because there's not supposed to be a division. Ron Paul is one of the best people that can bring people together, and we shouldn't be having any type of division like this. They're just allowing. They're basically going along. Well, not they. I should say Jesse Bannon and whoever's behind this is going along with the media narrative. And as long as they go along with the media narrative, they make it harder for us to squash that shit. You know, because we're trying to fight the media. And I understand that Ron Paul sometimes, and he don't want to come out too hard, because then it might really try to go at him. But at the same time, you can't throw us under the bus. You know why it's as big as it is, and so I feel like I don't know, man. I just can't get down with that. That's got to be spoken about. That needs to be addressed before there's a conference call with the media. It needs to be a conference call with the grassroots people.
Yeah, did you see how he had a conference call with like a bunch of freaking CNN people and crap? And then, you know, but no, I asked for an interview. Tracy's asked for an interview. Tons of other people that are in the Liberty movement have asked for an interview with Jesse Benton, and he refuses to talk to anybody other than CNN people and Fox people. I was like, seriously, what are you doing, man? You're ignoring the people that make this up. Whatever. I mean, people like Ron Paul Rising likes to talk stuff, but it's important to vet. It's important to vent and speak about what makes us mad, you know?
That was what the whole purpose of tonight was. And honestly, sadly, guys, I think I'm going to have to wrap this up here. But I'm going to give a little bit of a plug right now. If you guys want to continue all this discussion and all this talk, please head over to ronpaultribune.com. They've got that chat going 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You guys can go over there and get your voices heard and say what you're going to say.
Is anybody going over there?
I'm sure everybody will, right? Go to ronpaultribune.com.
Yeah, I'm going over there right now.
All right, I'll go over there right now, too, then.
Just hold on 1 second, though. I have to say one more thing.
Oh, go ahead. I'm listening.
I want to thank everyone for coming and talking to us tonight. I have a show every Thursday night at 9 o'clock here on Liberty Chat called Talking Liberty with Tracy Diaz. I've had Ben Swan, Jordan P., Josh Tolley, Tatiana Rose. Tomorrow night, I actually have Richard Gage, who is the founder of Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth. I have none other than Antonello, who's here with us now, and I've got Nathan Cox, along with a Liberty candidate here in New York who's got a crazy story to tell that's really got to be heard. So come in here tomorrow, 9 o'clock, standard time. For now, good night. Cheers. Go over to ronpaultribune.com, hang out there, talk, and Chang's going to be over there, and I don't know, Paco will be over there.
I'm sure all of you have, Facebook and all kinds of social media, so, thank Tracy for everything she did. Try to promote her every way you can, put the word out about her shows, and she really hit it out of the park tonight, so props to her.
Thanks a lot. I'd be remiss if I didn't thank Ian Coffey, who actually runs libertychat.com. There's always debates on here. Stefan Molyneux, Tom Woods is always over here, Adam's always here. There's a bunch of people always here. Frequent both sites. We're partners. We piggyback off one another, and I might pop in there for a few minutes myself. So, guys, thank you so much for everything. Have a great night. This was so productive and so amazing. And